Welcome to story time, rise and shine. Welcome to story time, rise and shine. Welcome to story time, we're so glad you're here. Rise and shine. Welcome to story time, rise and shine. Welcome to story time, rise and shine. Welcome to story time, we're so glad you're here.
Good morning, boys and girls. Today our stories are about origami. Here's some examples of origami. What is origami, you ask? Origami is the art of folding paper. It diverges from a Japanese word called ori, which means folding, and kami, which means paper. Traditional origami consists of folding a single sheet of square paper into a sculpture without cutting or gluing anything down. Paper was first founded in China in 105 AD. The art of origami, which they used in China, they used it for funerals, or if they wanted to give somebody a gift, special occasions, weddings, celebrations. That's what they used origami for. So now, since you know the history of origami, I'm going to tell you a story about origami. And then at the end, I'm going to show you how to make an origami kitty cat. You ready? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a butterfly named Herman. He loved flowers. He loved the pretty colors and the smell, especially the sweet-tasting nectar. One day Herman was flying in the sky, looking for some flowers to find a sweet treat. He saw a cat playing with a fox and a dog. He watched them play a while. He thought to himself, they look like they're having so much fun. I will ask them if I can play with him. So Herman flew down to where they were and sat on some flowers that were hanging nearby. He said, "Excuse me, Mr. Dog, but the dog could not hear him. So he yelled louder, "Excuse me, excuse me." Finally, the animals heard him. Heard him. And they wondered where the noise was coming from. They looked at the flowers, and there was Herman the butterfly. The animals gathered all around Herman and introduced himself. The dog said, "My name is Ranger. It's nice to meet you." The cat said, "My name is Bluebell. It's nice to meet you." The fox said, "My name is Red. My name is Red because I'm a red fox." Herman smiled and said, "My name is Herman. I'm so happy to meet you. I was wondering if I can be your friend and play with you, because the game you were playing looks really fun." Ranger said, "Well, of course. We would love to be your friend and play with you." The animals played for hours and hours. They became best friends and always played together. The end. Now I'm going to show you how to make an origami cat. First, you need a square sheet of paper. Okay, once you have your square sheet of paper, you're going to take it and fold this corner to this corner. Like that. And then you're going to make it a crease. Then you're going to take the top and fold it down like this. You're going to take it this side and fold it like this. Then you're going to take the other side and fold it like this. And then you have your origami cat. Once you get it folded like this, then you're going to draw the face on him like I did. You can use any sheet color of paper that you want. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.
Good morning, boys and girls. Miss Bunny told you that we were talking about stories that involve origami or paper folding. So I'm going to tell you a story that I've made up, and it's called Blue. So once upon a time, there was a piece of paper flying in the wind, and that piece of paper was named Blue. As it soared over the earth, he saw a lady walking in the hot sun, and he wondered to himself, she needs shelter from the sun. Let me make myself into a hat so that I can shelter her from the sun. And the old lady looked up and she saw the hat. Oh, how wonderful it feels. I'm so grateful to be sheltered from the mean old hot sun. And when she walked home, and when she got to her house, this is an origami house, the paper transformed itself blue and he flew away. And she was very, very thankful. And then he sailed across the sky again, and he encountered two birds on a branch. The mama bird was saying to the daddy bird, my nest needs to be softer than it is. You need to go and find other things to make my nest soft. So the paper transformed himself into a soft ball, and Mama Bird sat on the nest and she hatched her eggs, and then the birds grew up and they flew away. Well, the paper was still in the nest, and it transformed himself back into a blue, and he flew over the earth again. And while soaring in the sky, he saw a little boy crying. The little boy had hurt his foot. So Blue decided to transform himself into a cane. So he rolled himself up tightly, and then he dropped himself down by the little boy, and the little boy said, "Oh, a cane. That will help me get home." So he leaned on the cane and he was able to walk. Where did he walk? He walked back home and was greeted by his mother, and he left his cane outside. And Blue again transformed himself back into a sheet of paper, and he rose up into the sky again. And while he was flying over in the sky, he saw a little girl who looked so unhappy because she had nothing to do. So again, he rolled himself up and he pulled himself apart, and he made himself into a ball and a bat. And so the little girl picked up the ball of paper and picked up the bat, and she just played hitting the ball. And she had something to do with the paper. And when she got through, she discarded the piece of paper And where do we put paper at? We put it into the garbage can. Well, while the paper was in the garbage can, a strong wind blew. And the paper blue was floating again in the sky. And then he was flying over the ocean, and he saw some men fishing in a boat. One of the men caught a fish, and he pulled it in and pulled it in. And as he was sitting there, trying to get that fish in, Blue became a bird. And so Blue sat there and he watched the man pulling the fish. And when the man had pulled in the fish, he was so tired, he was panting. So Blue transformed himself into a fan so that one of the fishermen could fan him until he felt better. And once he felt better, Blue just laid down, and the men took the fish and put it on Blue and rolled him up, and Blue was now the wrap for the fish. And that was the end of the piece of paper. The end. So now I'm going to show you how to make a cap. Remember, this is what sheltered the lady from the storm. The sun, excuse me. So you need a rectangle sheet of paper for this. So we're going to fold our rectangle sheet of paper in half. And then we're going to fold it in half again. And then we're going to flatten it out. And then we're going to fold it in a little triangle, not all the way down, but halfway down. And then we're going to, let me turn it this way so you can see, we're going to fold it again right here. And then we're going to take this one side of it and lift it up. And we're going to fold it in half up to the line where the brim is. And then we're going to fold it up again right there. And so we're going to do the same thing for this side. Halfway and then all the way. And so now we have a hat that we can put on and shelter ourselves from the storm. Okay? The next thing that was in our story was the house. When the lady reached the house, and it looked like this. So, again, we had a square piece of paper, and we fold that paper down the middle, and then we turned that paper over and we fold it in here and we fold it in here and then we fold it over and we fold it over and we pushed out one side right there and then we pushed out the other side and we had a little house. Okay, so that was paper folding for a house. And the next thing we had was the nest, and you know all I did was balled up the paper. And then we had a cane, and when you make a cane, you're just rolling your paper very, very tight so that it will be strong. And with the ball in the back, we just rolled it the same way, and you had a bat. So If you learned anything today, you learned how to make a house, and you learned how to make a cap, and how to make a walking cane and a bat. But you can play with paper anytime and have fun with it. Just follow the steps. And there are a lot of YouTube videos available on origami paper folding. I hope you enjoyed today's story.
Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm going to tell you a story about an origami fish and an origami frog. You remember we've been talking about origami. And what is that? It's paper folding. Very good. And this is about a Thanksgiving story. Fish was swimming along one morning, looking for worms to nibble on, when she was pulled out of the water quite suddenly. A bird picked her up and flew away. She saw the pond getting smaller behind her. After quite a while of flying, the bird let go. Fish fell down into a new pond. She had never been anywhere other than her little pond. She was very scared. Fish was still hungry, so she looked for a worm. She saw one dangling in the water and took a small bite. It had something pointy in it. Ow! So she spit it out. Just as soon as she spit it out, the worm was pulled up fast out of the water. It must have been on a hook, she thought to herself. I must find something safer to eat. She looked around, but all she saw was grass and mud. A frog swam by her. Hey there, frog. Where are you off to? I'm going to find some lunch, replied Frog. Care to join me? Fish thought it would be good to eat with Frog. She swam alongside him until they reached the bank, and he hopped ashore. She poked her head above the surface to watch him. Fish heard a humming sound. It sounded like little wings. What has little wings? Flies do. A big fly was humming around their heads. Frog watched him for just a moment, then jumped and caught the fly with his long, sticky tongue. Said Frog. Your turn. Fish wasn't standing on the bank like Frog was. Fish didn't have legs like frogs did. But Fish had a strong tail. The two waited until they heard humming again. Fish watched and finally pushed her tail through the water and splash! She belly flopped and didn't catch the fly at all. Frog told her to try again, and this time to build up some speed. Fish went for it. Zoom! The fly saw her coming and flew away. Frog knew that his friend would need more help. He taught her to sneak up very quietly through the water so that the fly couldn't see her and only jump out when she was close to it. When another fly flew over them, Fish pushed her tail quietly through the water with all her might, bursting through at the last moment, and smack! She caught the fly. It was almost as good as a yummy worm. Together, Frog and Fish caught flies all afternoon and were stuffed by the end of the day. Fish told Frog, "This was a new place for me, and I was scared that I wouldn't be able to find food or that I would get hurt. I am thankful that I found a new friend today and shared a yummy meal with you. We should do this every year. So if you go out to a pond or lake and see frogs and fish together in November, then they are probably celebrating Thanksgiving." The end. Hello, boys and girls. You just heard a story about an origami frog. I'm going to show you how to make it. You need to start with a rectangle piece of paper. And it helps if it's a thick paper, that way your frog can jump at the end. You're going to start by folding the top corner down to look like this. Then you crease it to make a good line there and open it back up. Then you're going to fold the other side down and crease it the same way. When you open it up, you should have a triangle here at the top and 2 triangles here and a triangle at the bottom. You're going to take these lines and pull them in so that it looks like this. Then to make the front legs, you'll fold the corner up here and the corner up here. Do you see his legs? Very good. Then we'll take the top side and fold it down and crease it. Then we'll take the bottom and fold it down and crease it too. But that doesn't really look like a frog yet, does it? He needs to have back legs that jump. So now we're going to take the bottom and fold it up and then fold it again so that it kind of looks like a Z. Do you see the Z? And those will be his back legs. Now he looks like a frog, doesn't he? And if you used thick enough paper, you can make him jump. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to read you a story about a little mouse named Rudy and his big adventure. Deep in the big, tall, humongous forest lived a mouse. Not a dirty little creature that liked to live off the crumbs that fall in the spaces between furniture. He was a well-groomed little fellow, with a cozy little house in the roots of a tree, and a tidy little garden out back. He had a red coat, frayed around the elbows perhaps, but comfortable, and a soft yellow scarf to keep him warm. One morning, the mouse, whose name was Rudy Whiskertwitch, by the way, went outside to check his mailbox and found a letter from his cousin, Tilly. It read, "Rudy, I need your help. I'm in Birch Haven, the big clearing to the south. There are a bunch of cats after me. They think I've stolen from them, and I think they want to gobble me up. Please come help." Now Rudy was quite distraught by this news. He didn't know if Tilly had stolen anything or not, but he couldn't leave a fellow Whiskertwitch in danger. He grabbed his coat and a sturdy stick, not much more than a toothpick for you or I, and raced off to the creek, nearly forgetting to lock the door. Birch Haven was a clearing, a big gap in the forest where the sun shone down and many of the forest animals lived in peace. Or were supposed to, anyway. Rudy didn't know who these cats were, or why they didn't care about the mayor of Birch Haven's laws. But in any case, he knew the fastest way for a little fellow like him to get there was to take the ferry. But he was too late. As he scrambled up, he saw the ferry pulling away from the little dock and sliding peacefully down the creek. Rudy hollered and waved, but it was no use. The ferry was too far. He sat down on the dock, and he felt like crying. But before he could so much as sniffle, a big shadow loomed up out of the water. Poor Rudy squeaked and covered his eyes, certain he was about to be gobbled up by some species of big water cat. Instead, he heard a voice. "Hello!" "Hello!" squeaked Rudy. "Why are you hiding?" Rudy peered out from behind his paws. He was nose to nose with a big fluffy creature that was dripping wet. "I thought you were going to eat me!" The fluffy creature laughed, shaking water onto poor Rudy. "No, I like fish and beetles. I'm an otter." "Well, why did you scare me like that?" protested Rudy in a huff. "Oh, I didn't mean to. You just looked so sad. Why are you sad?" Rudy shuffled his paws. "I missed the ferry. I need to get to Birch Haven very quickly. My cousin is in trouble." The big otter smiled. "I can take you there. Climb on." And she rolled onto her back in the water, her big fluffy belly more than big enough to hold little Rudy. Rudy hesitated just a moment, but his cousin's need was very great, so he hopped onto the otter's belly, which caused her to giggle before she pushed herself gently down the river. "I don't know what kind of trouble your cousin is in," said the otter, "but when you get to the clearing, Find my friend Charlie. He's an owl, and if anyone can help you, he can." "Well, I've never seen an owl before," wondered Rudy, thinking about all the animals that he might see in the clearing. "What do they look like?" "Like this," said the otter, and she pulled a big leaf off of a nearby bush and began to fold it up. When she was done, it looked like a small, plump creature with 2 wings and a sharp beak. "Wow," said Rudy. "Can you teach me that?" "Sure," said the otter, plucking 2 more leaves from a nearby bush. All the while they drifted down the river, they practiced origami, as the otter called it. Rudy's owl didn't look nearly as good, but he was pleased nonetheless. Before he knew it, the otter was putting Rudy down on a sandy bank, not far from the clearing. "We're here. When you find my friend Charlie, make sure you give him this owl. That's how he'll know we're friends." "Okay," said Rudy, delighted, and he almost ran off, but he came back. "I've almost forgotten. What is your name? We can't be friends if I don't know your name." "I'm Misty," said the otter. "Rudy, charmed," Rudy replied. "Until we meet again." They both said their farewells, and then Rudy climbed up the slope to the clearing, an origami owl in his paws, and a spring in his step for making a new friend. Rudy's story is not over yet, but that's all the time we have today. Now we're going to show you how to make an origami owl just like Rudy. Next time, we'll hear what happened to him in the big clearing. Alright, now Savannah here is going to show us how to make an origami owl just like Rudy. The first thing you're going to need is a square sheet of paper.
Alright, so we're going to start by folding our square in half and making a triangle, just like that, okay? And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to make our wings. To make your wing, you're going to take one over and fold it just like that, so that when you fold it, you have a triangle at the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to take the other side. And remember, whenever you're folding, you want to crease it really well. And creasing just means that you run your finger along the edge so that it forms a good solid line. We're going to do that on both sides. Okay. So then we're going to take the other wing and we're going to fold it so that this line matches this line. Just like that. Now we'll do it to the other side. Make some pointy wings. And remember to crease really well. So now it should look like that. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to turn this little corner here to be right here. And you want to try to make a line right here so that this is a perfect triangle. Okay, good job. Alright, now we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to make a good triangle. Okay. Now this is the tricky part, so pay close attention. Fold your wing out and put your finger right in the triangle. You see that line that I'm putting my finger on? And you can grab this other part here. Pull it in. Very good. And then you can fold your wing down just like that. And you see it kind of makes another triangle there. Good job. Now we're going to do the other side just the same way. Okay? So take your corner. We're going to fold it out and tuck it in so it makes a line. And then fold it into another triangle. Maybe. Okay, so now we've got 2 wings. So it should look something like that. Good job. So now we'll flip him over so that we're looking at the pretty side. And now we got to give him a head. So let's fold the top down just like that. And it's going to be a little tough because you got some thick paper there. Remember to crease it real well, just like that. Okay? And now, this one's a little tricky too, but we're going to pull this top triangle up and pull it with your finger, just like that. It's a little tough because the paper's kind of thick. Perfect. So then we're going to do the other side and pull it up just like that, if you can fit your finger in there. So now it kind of looks like he's got some eyes, right? Okay. And now we're going to do the beak. So it helps if you flip him upside down. At least it helps me a little bit. And we'll tuck his beak under there. Okay. You see his little beak? Now you're just like Rudy was in the story. Okay? So now we got to do his side, okay? You see the sides here that are kind of pointy? So we're going to fold them in just like this. And then we'll fold the other side in the same way, just like that. There should be 2 triangles on the side. Okay? Very good. So now we're going to stick our finger in there and we're going to pull that triangle in so that it's on the inside, kind of like we did for the wings. And squish it. Squish it real good. That way it stays. See how he did? Very good. So you should have a good straight line there. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. And take your triangle and stick your finger in there. And you want to squish it flat. Okay, very good. So now we have his wings and his face. And what else are we needing? Well, we need him to stand, don't we? So we'll fold him this way. And then we'll flip him over and we'll fold him this way. And crease it. Remember, crease it really well. And then you're going to split the bottom apart, just like that. And then you're going to tuck one triangle in on the front. And then you're going to tuck one triangle in on the back. Now he's flat on the bottom. So now you can pull him out like that. And you've got an owl that'll stand just a little bit. All right, and now you're just like Rudy in the story. Thank you. Bye.
Hi kids. I guess you've heard that all of the stories we read today had the word origami in it. And we use origami pictures. I want to let you know that in our library, we have books that you can check out. So if you're bored or just want something to do, you might want to try to do some origami. So let's just look at some of the things that we made today. We had what is he? A fish in our story today, and he was folded. We had a frog that was hoppable, so you might want to do it. We attached a little tongue to him so he could use to catch his flies. And we had a bird. And just think, you transform a square piece of paper into something that looks realistic. And then we had let's see what else we have in this basket. We made a little house. We also made a cap, and that started with a rectangle piece of paper. And let's see what else we had. What is this? Okay, what is that? Is that the fox? And he was just a few folds, and then we had, what is that? What is that? Is that a rabbit? No, it's a cat. And then we had, oh, this one is so pretty. What is it? It's a what? Butterfly. And, oh, this is a wise old what? Owl. He knows everything. And so we folded a lot today. Oh, I forgot one more in our basket. His ears are turned down, so he must be a what? Roo, roo. He's a dog, right? So we had plenty in our basket today, and we hope that you enjoyed, and that when you're on your holidays, you might want to be folding some paper and coming up with some new folds yourself, because it's fun to do, and you can make all kinds of stories. The stories today were written all by our library staff. So make up your story and fold you some paper and enjoy origami.